You open your phone and immediately drop into a custom-built universe. Targeted ads know your shoe size, your echo chambers confirm your worst fears, and the facts trending on your timeline completely contradict the facts trending on your neighbors. We are constantly arguing not just about what things mean, but about what is actually happening. It feels like everyone is inhabiting a completely different reality. This friction is a hallmark of the postmodern condition, a specific way of organizing society and knowledge that has replaced the certainties of the past. To understand our current state, we have to look at the era that preceded it, modernity. Modernity grew out of the Enlightenment, a period focused on human reason and scientific inquiry. The central premise was that there is a single objective truth. The assumption was that if we applied enough science and logic, we could map the universe and solve every human problem. This desire for order shaped society itself. Industrialization organized human life around the assembly line. People derived their identities from their class and their specific roles in a massive, predictable system of production. Out of this ordered world came grand narratives, or meta-narratives. These were sweeping, universal stories, like the inevitable triumph of Marxism or the march of liberal humanism, that claimed to explain the entire path of human progress. But those stories were written by the dominant culture, and they often ignored the specific experiences of marginalized groups and non-Western societies. Eventually, these grand narratives began to lose their authority. The cracks in the modern worldview appeared as early as the late 19th century. Friedrich Nietzsche observed that the absolute anchors to reality, like religion and universal morality, were losing their grip on society. In 1979, philosopher Jean-François Lyotard gave this skepticism a name. He defined postmodernism as an incredulity towards meta-narratives. He argued that we could no longer trust sweeping stories that claim to explain the human experience for everyone. Instead, society broke apart into little narratives. These are localized, provisional stories that reflect the highly specific identities and experiences of different groups. This shift helped fuel identity politics. Instead of a universal class struggle on a factory floor, people began organizing around their specific race, gender, or sexual orientation to resist the domination of other groups. In this framework, truth is plural and localized. It is inherently tied to who you are and where you stand. If truth is just a story we tell, we have to ask who decides which stories become facts. Michel Foucault argued that knowledge is never neutral. It is a construct created by those in power to regulate behavior. Foucault used discourse to describe the invisible rules of language and culture dictating how we speak and think, establishing what is normal. Because we internalize these rules, we police ourselves, self-regulating to fit norms without overt coercion. This suggests that what we call objective facts are often just the narratives of the dominant power structures that successfully survived. Jacques Derrida focused on the tools we use to build these narratives, language itself. Derrida developed deconstruction to reveal how language relies on unequal binaries, like male versus female or rational versus emotional. Deconstruction is a method of close reading that exposes the hidden contradictions within these concepts. Philosopher Jean Baudrillard scaled this instability up to our entire media landscape. Baudrillard argued we live in hyper-reality. In this state, consumer-driven media replaces actual reality with simulations or simulacra. These are copies of things that either had no original or where the original truth has been lost. We are now in a post-industrial world where we consume media representations that point only to other representations rather than to a fixed reality. Our identities are no longer tied to factory jobs. Instead, we are post-materialist consumers, curating fluid versions of ourselves through lifestyle choices and the media we consume. This creates a problem. If truth is just subjective discourse, how do we agree on anything? Critic Jürgen Habermas argued that abandoning objective truth is dangerous. He believed it undermines our ability to distinguish between legitimate and illegitimate power, making it harder to fight injustice. If science and morality are dismissed as just another narrative, society loses the shared foundation required to address global crises. But the goal of postmodernism is not to prove that nothing matters. By questioning the grand narratives, we create room for the multiplicity of marginalized voices and histories that were previously silenced by the quest for a single truth. It places the responsibility on the individual to analyze the media they consume and identify the power dynamics behind the facts they are handed. Navigating the postmodern world means trading the comfort of absolute certainty for the constant practice of questioning. By recognizing how our reality is constructed, we can view our social world as a series of choices rather than an unchangeable truth.